So, yeah, definitely a man of action, and I think he sums up what all men should be in the sense that of uh actions and deeds speak volumes. You could that it speaks so much more than saying all these eloquent words.
Yeah.
Like how the way he lived his life
Yeah.
is a straight up model of masculinity for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But Ken, is there any attribute about Saint Joseph that you know that you bro that you admire in him like at all?
Man, so I don't know a whole lot about Saint Joseph
Yeah.
just yet. I think
Yeah.
my journey with him is about to begin. I think I was first exposed sort of to more of the story of Saint Joseph through Newman, and how I think it was Father Peter who was praying the Holy Cloak devotion.
Yeah.
And that was
The
one of the
30-day
things
Holy
that,
Cloak devotion to Saint Joseph.
that allowed them to renovate the Newman Chapel, right?
Yeah.
So praise God for that, and thank you, Saint Joseph, for your intercession and helping, providing for the funds, right? But in terms of like the qualities that you touched on it in the beginning when you were talking about how you wanted to quietly dismiss Mary, and I look at that as tenderness. And I think as a society, we don't always see big, strong, virile men as being tender, maybe rough around the edges, maybe aggressive, maybe passionate about how they go about their lives. And but yeah, tender is not the first thing that comes to mind. But I think for me, that was the first thing that came to mind when I was reading the gospel on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I'd like to think that I'm tender in some ways of my life. So I think I'll try to pray a bit more to Saint Joe, and yeah.
The one more thing about him,
Yeah.
the guy
Tell me.
was cool under pressure, right? So when he's hearing all this stuff about Mary, right? Well, whether it is the Ark of the Covenant, or he's like, you know what, like, I don't know how you're pregnant, but I'm just gonna dismiss you quietly. He was actually able to go to sleep, it says.
Right.
But you have to be in a state of peace.
Very good
right?
point. Yeah.
To be strong
Yeah.
conviction in that, my Lord, this is the situation and I trust in you. I have made my decision.
Yeah.
Right? And this is how I plan to proceed. And you can go to bed on your night go to bed at night and sleep in that peace, knowing that I am on my gaze is on the Father, and his gaze is back at me, and no matter what the situation is drawn forth, that I will rely and draw on my strength on him. And I think that's what he did that night. And when you're in that state, then the Lord, you can encounter the Lord in that like profound way, when the angel comes directly to him in his sleep and says, you know what? You're going to be the foster father of the Son of God. Right?
Yeah.
You've been commissioned.
Yeah, and I think there has to be a sense of trust between Saint Joseph and Mary. I can only imagine how that conversation went. Like hearing like she's pregnant.
Did you get the dream? Did you get the dream?
And just like and just imagining how awkward that conversation would have been. And I think, like, instead of him jumping to conclusions, I definitely do believe he had a relationship with God the Father, like Saint Joseph, to the point where he can hear God's voice. Because if you don't have a relationship with him, you won't know, like, what the heck this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think because Mary and Saint Joseph, I guess, inspired one another to, I guess, seek God's will. That's how they could be so open when an angel appears to them, whether it's a dream or in person. Because back in the day, if an angel came to you, it's either because there was a blessing or because something's gonna get destroyed. So either or, like, you're like, which one is it? And so, but angels only appear to holy people, right? So, like, it just goes to show that both individuals were seeking to do God's will in their courtship, because they were engaged, right? And it just goes to show, like, that God was present in their relationship, and even became even more present when Christ was born. You know, like the presence of Christ became an even bigger actually a reality, instead of just this like in our heads, right?
Yeah.
It was like they could hold that reality in their arms.
Yo, and I'm hearing you say that, and hey, most men in that situation would react to the situation, right?
Yeah.
So stone her, or you know what? I'm running away from the new Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
He responded, bro. Right? Instead of the whole usual like you know, without any like thought, like love, care, like, you know, grounded in the faith, like instead of reacting without that, like he actually reacted like with that firm conviction. And I think that's a game changer that I see with Saint Joseph. And that's one thing I want to do, man. That's one thing I'm working on, trying not to be this guy who is reacting to everything, and be somebody who responds. And it is difficult.
Yeah.
The Lord is giving me ample opportunities every
same here, man.
single day, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Lord have mercy.
Christ have mercy.
Have mercy.
Triple yoke. I guess with that being said, we'll go to our song break.
Sure.
And then
What
we'll
do we play
continue.
today?
We're gonna listen to a song called "Different" by Micah Tyler. We hope you enjoy.
Micah Tyler.
I don't want to hear anymore. Teach me to listen. I don't want to see anymore. Give me a vision that you could move this heart to be set apart. I don't need to recognize the man in the mirror, 'cause I don't want to trade your plans for something familiar. I can't waste a day, 'cause I can't stay the same. I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me's gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different in me. I don't wanna spend my life stuck in a pattern, and I don't wanna gain this world but lose what matters. And so I'm giving up everything, because I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different. Oh, I know that I am far from perfect, but through you the cross still says I'm worth it. So take this beating in my heart and come and finish what you've started. When they see me, let them see you, 'cause I just wanna be different, yeah. I wanna be different, I wanna be changed, till all of me is gone, and all that remains, oh, is a fire so bright the whole world can see that there's something different. So come and be different. I just wanna be different. So could you be different in me?
Brother.
We're back.
So that was Different by Micah Tyler. I remember hearing this song and I was like, yo, Discovery Weekly struck gold again.
Hey.
And yeah, so like if I can just bring up some of the lyrics, like he says like, I don't want to hear anymore. Teach me to listen.
Ooh.
I don't want to see anymore. Give me a vision.
Ooh.
That you could move this heart to be set apart. I don't need to recognize the man in the mirror. And I don't want to trade your plans for something familiar. And I can't waste a day. I can't stay the same. I want to be different. I want to be changed. So, like, I think, like, for me, my journey with St. Joseph, like, I realized that there's, like, many aspects of my life that I still needs to change. And that I need to kick away some bad habits, whether that's gaming, pornography, masturbation. That, like, I can't continue to hold on to if I want to be the man God is calling me to be. And that I desire to be. And it's kind of just looking at those things and saying, I need to I want to be different. I want to be changed. And so what does that mean? Like, I have to stop listening to all the other voices but Christ's.
Yeah.
And to stop looking for other things for my happiness but Christ. And then to be open for him to really challenging me and really setting me apart for something greater that I know that he is calling me for.
Yeah.
And like, since that podcast of Andre calling me out in front of everybody.
Yo, I'll do it again, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Better believe that.
Yes.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man, kid.
Okay. Well, I should be able to accept it if I want to dish it out. So, anyways, but I hope you guys can like back me up in this. That like this past week alone has been like a change in me wanting to be that man that I know that I can be, I desire to be, and God's calling me to be. And I think this ties into, at least with like my journey with St. Joseph. So it just so happened that our friend Alex, one of the guys in our men's group in our Exodus team, he was living in Montreal and he was finally moving back to Toronto, and he needed to he asked if like anyone was free to help him move. And it just so happens that I'm the only guy that doesn't have a job and isn't doing full-time schooling. So like I was like, hey, I'm free. And he didn't realize that the day he wanted to move was actually on the Solemnity of St. Joseph. And what's incredible is that like he got moved to Montreal because he knows French. And so it's just like divine providence, how everything kind of came together. And I remember like being at St. Francis Xavier for one of our meetings, and I was looking at one of the flyers because they were doing a novena for St. Joseph, and they're like, come to the oratory for the solemnity. I'm like, who's going to drive all the way there to, like, from here?
Mississauga to Montreal.
Mississauga to Montreal from here. Like, why did they have this poster? Just remove it. It's unreal. It's unrealistic. And lo and behold, St. Joseph, St. Joseph was like, bro, you're the one that's going to come.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Yo, that's so funny.
Yeah. And so, and so I messaged Alex. I was like, hey, what's the possibilities of us going to the oratory to celebrate the Solemnity of St. Joseph? He's like, bro, 100%. And so, like, we made the pilgrimage there to the oratory. We were able to make it like 15 minutes before mass started. What's funny is that the mass, I thought it was going to be bilingual, all French. But like, I think that was the only mass that I ever like sat still and still felt like comfortable and very at peace.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I'm supposed to be, like with my patron, being molded by him. And I remember just doing the rosary, because there's no way I can understand French, so I did not understand the homily. So I was just doing the rosary. And I just had this, like, in a way, this conviction of, like, to act. So for those that don't know, and I think someone made a comment about, like, we talk about, Ken and AJ talk about, like, just, like, future relationships and, like, future marriage and stuff like that. And so I'm going to share about, like, what's been happening in my life the past 3 weeks.
Tell us, bro.
Juicy.
And so I apologize ahead of advance if I'm talking a lot. But I mean, so I've been